What's going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Polestar. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Polestar is up a pretty impressive 14.65%. You are seeing some institutions paying attention to it, and that's definitely not a common occurrence. As I've brought up in previous videos, typically institutions just overlook Polestar, but these are all the transactions that have occurred above $100,000 over the last 90 days. So there has been more of a uptick in institutions paying attention to it. And I think there is some coincidence as well. There's been a couple articles over the last couple trading days about Polestar being a very discounted EV. And so EVs have been gaining more and more popularity over this last little bit as potential rate cuts in the US are going to be most likely coming in September. So a lot of people are pretty much looking at comparables. So for instance, looking at Polestar, the PS ratio is 0.9. The future is 0.4. So as I brought up, Polestar 100% is a discounted EV. And just to put it in comparison, so as of right now, like I said, 0.9. Let's pull up Lucid, for example. So I do cover Lucid as well and a couple of other EVs, but Lucid right now, looking at the PS ratio, is 14.6. So to put it in comparison, like Polestar would be around $15 if given the same multiple as Lucid. So it puts it in perspective on how crazy Polestar is at a discount. And I think one big thing that's really caused it to go down is just institutions not really paying attention to it, not adding that support level and whatever else. Interesting point though, there hasn't been all that much in news today associated to Polestar. So again, it's just a lot of those attributing factors plus its own technicals. So last news came out August the 21st, no recent SEC filings. You do have their earnings coming out on the 29th before the market does open. Expectations right now, negative 16 cents for the earnings per share, 642.77 million for the revenue. So definitely a nice change of events, getting off that one-off from their last quarter. And over the last 90 days, there hasn't been any positive, but there has been 2 negative revisions coming from analysts. And speaking of analysts, popping over to IBKR, last rating did come out 11 days ago, $3 price target by Cantor Fitzgerald. Andre Shepard, who has a very bad rating, 34%, but still, when this did come out, the broader market saw that as a pretty good catalyst because Polestar has been sub $1 for a very long time. And essentially, they do need to trade between 10 to 20 consecutive trading days above $1 to regain compliance. And they have up until January, so it is fair to assume that they're going to do that naturally. But still, I think a lot of people are kind of curious on their upcoming earnings, which again is a couple days away. So all of that is playing a part in Polestar to really go up. You also have randomly, for again whatever reason, shorts returning 925,000 shares. Grand total of 39.93 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is fairly high, so 88.82. Utilization 96.61. And then short score, so the harder the number, the harder the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is 84.61. You do see a lot of people on social media starting to talk on how Polestar is a squeeze play and kind of just bringing up the point, the fact that I guess Polestar over the last 1 month is up 35.1%. So it's done a fairly good 180, a nice recovery. So yeah, you never know. Polestar shorts are somewhat overextended, similar to a lot of other EVs. So if Polestar does have a pretty kick-ass earnings and continues this momentum, then you could see a little bit higher highs coming. And so once again, let me know your thoughts on that. A lot of money is getting into Polestar through options today. 72,000 in calls, 4,700 in puts. So even though it's not a lot in comparison for Polestar, it's a lot, but 51% of all the options being done so far today are optimistic and bullish, and more so oriented towards kind of in excess of $1.50. So a very nice recovery is anticipated, but still though, they only do have the monthly chains, so nothing really crazy. So it's not too popular in that regard. And so as of right now, today is a very interesting day. So it did have 88 cents the low, $1.03 the high. Based on the technicals, it did bounce off of this pivot point right here. So the 88 cent range, and in fact, it actually did bounce off of this R3. So it is kind of on opposite spectrums. Very bullish stuff though. And so like I brought up in my last video, if Polestar is able to close above $1 for 2 consecutive trading days, I feel like this is where you will see a very swift pull up to roughly around the $1.20 range. That's just my own thoughts, of course. You guys do your own due diligence on the actual chart itself. It is kind of testing that 100-day moving average as of right now. So hopefully, and it actually looks like it is kind of breaking above that. Still though, you do need 2 consecutive days and to confirm a trend. Stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation. At the same time, it is at 76, so arguably considered overbought. First sign of weakness, whether it be from their earnings or something else, you could see a little bit more of a retracement, similar to what has happened time and time again with Polestar. So let me know your thoughts on that. Despite everything, you have seen a number of retail investors buying the hell out of Polestar. So if you guys have been part of that group, give yourself a shout out in the comments below. Or have you been selling? What have you guys been doing with Polestar? So how high do you feel Polestar is going to go this time around, and what's your expectations from their earnings? Do you think that they're going to kind of hit a lot of the key metrics, or because again, they are kind of close to profitability, right? I believe they stated it's going to be sometime in 2025. They did reiterate that last earnings despite crappy results. So yeah, what's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Been extended up until the end of August, so you do have a couple days left. Take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.